It's up to you, New York, New York.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? What's up? It is Thursday afternoon.
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
Oh, there he is. I didn't get a chance to introduce you yet. Hello, Shad. Let me give you a do, man.
So, Idris, I got a question for you.
Yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What's up, man? Let me introduce you first.
Sure.
I got to give you your roll call, man. Let me do the intro first. Yo, welcome to the Richie History Sports Podcast. I am your host. Well, I'm your co-host, Idris Slum, aka Bosco from the Bronx. Our man Richie is on the way. He had to go buy some new BVDs, so he'll be here. I think he's gonna buy some Fruit of the Looms. I don't know. He said he needs some more underwear, but he on his way. We got my man from upstate, the Great White North.
Hey, so just to give you guys the old-fashioned weather update here in upstate New York. Well, got rain today, but the weather's been absolutely fantastic so far. This late spring, early summer. So yeah. Kids got one more day of school tomorrow, and they have the summer off, and ready to roll for all that fun stuff.
And this is Ryan Shedd. He won't let me introduce him, but this is our Carson Wentz, y'all. This is him. Now y'all see what he looks like. He's on our show. What's up, Shedd?
What's up? Happy to be here. Oh, happy to be back, I should say. Yes. And I apologize for jumping the gun there, Idris. My bad.
Oh no, dude. Look here. Hey, you need the floor, man. You haven't been on the show in a while, so I have no problem with that. You are Ryan Shedd. You are our Northeast brethren. Us other Northeast brethren are down here in the South, so you're on top right now. Don't even worry about it. But, yeah, we're gonna talk a little sports right now until Richie get back and trying on his BVDs or whatever. See how they fit on him. But what you want to talk about, Shedd? What you got on your mind right quick?
So I got something for you, Idris. What is your opinion on the Brandon Ayuk situation?
Oh man, I don't know, man. It's like it's being a headache, man. In my opinion, man. I just think I don't think he's handling things right. I understand his money. I mean, but yo, dude, he hasn't been healthy. I don't know, man. I'm letting him go. I'm letting him walk. I'm making trades. I can't deal with that energy, man. He's just, he's just, it seems like ever since that Super Bowl, he's kind of felt like I'm CMC, I'm George Kittle. He's had that, man. I said, dude, no, you're not. Those guys made you better. So I'm not feeling him, bro. To be honest with you, I'm not feeling him. I say trade him, man. Get him out of there.
Well, I mean, no one wants to trade for him because the Niners are probably just going to release him. But the thing is, the Niners hold all the cards, right? He has to report to the facility in order for them to cut him, to release him. He's not doing that. So he's his own worst enemy in that aspect of it. Like if he just shows up passes a physical, and he can do whatever. If he reports, then that means the Niners are at that point, they can't keep him on. He left the team, not on the roster list, which means they have to pay him. He's an active member of the roster. So until he reports to camp or reports to the facility and passes a physical, they have no reason whatsoever to release him. So the ball's really in his court. So I don't understand. Like, my confusion is he should know that. And the fact that he's going on social media and saying he's going to play for the Commanders as soon as the 49ers cut him, and he's talking all this smack about him. Like, I get you're disgruntled, but come on, like, you're a grown man, act like one, do the right thing, report to camp, make the 49ers make a move. Right now, they can't make a move. They have no reason to make a move. You didn't report to camp. Or not, I keep saying camp, but I mean the facility.
No, I know what you mean.
Because mandatory mini camp isn't until July 24th. But he still can report and pass the physical and all that, so he knows that they're ready. At that point, he is no longer a member off the disabled list. So I just don't understand the mentality. Like, dude, if you want to be released, you have to make a move. You have to do the right thing. Dude's just constantly posting on social media and showing his dissatisfaction. But on the outside, if you're let's say he wants to play for the Commanders. If you're the Washington Commanders and you see how he's acting, I mean, how does that look? Right. Like, to me, I just think you're playing all the wrong cards. Like, just show up to the field and get released. Ask, start working out for teams. But here's another thing too, Idris. We haven't seen him from the waist down. Like, we haven't seen him run. We haven't seen him do sprints. We haven't seen him work out. So we don't even know. No one knows if he's healthy. I mean, he can hear and say what he wants, but no one's going to run, do any kind of catching, receiving, nothing. Like, so you're going to take a gamble on him one way or the other, but he needs to start doing the right thing.
You know what? I'm with you on all points because, and you know what? The thing about that, I don't like the owners in any sports because they Richie in the comments. I don't care too much for owners in any sports. Well, in hockey might be a little different, but I think the owners are selfish and everything. However, I kind of think I'm with a lot of owners on this because I feel a lot of players these days are so spoiled that they feel they can do what they want when they want to do. And what they don't understand is, dude, regardless of who you are, what you're doing, you are still an employee of the squad, of the organization. You're still under contract. Because if you were out here on the streets, you'd be fired without a job, looking for a job. And considering, like you said, considering he hasn't worked out, they don't know what he's doing. They don't know his stamina. They don't know his weight. Because, he was gaining a little weight anyway. So they don't know nothing. And I think he's kind of handicapping the Niners. And for him to say he's going to Washington, whatever, you know what? That right there is classes among, itself. Dude, shut up. Get in there and get a physical. And let's take it from there. But you sitting here on social media yapping, you're gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. That's not making you that's making you undesirable. Because, like, okay, this guy is a hard head. Because look at how Stephon Diggs is. Very good receiver, great receiver. But his antics are keeping him from getting signed. And Ayuk, I think he's a good player, great player. No, I think he's a very good player. I really do that. I don't think he's a superstar. That's just my opinion. But with him doing this stuff, I'm like, dude, you're just hurting
hands. He's a great route runner.
Yes. Yeah, he can get it done. He can get it done. That's what I'm saying, but like, dude, you got to chill because you're not that guy. You're good, you're great at what you do, but you are not that guy. You can't carry a franchise like CMC. You can't be effective out there like George Kittle and say, hey, I'm not coming to camp. You're Brandon Ayuk. You're good. Probably great, but you're not in the top 10. I don't feel he's a top 10 in his position. Just my opinion. He might be, but in my opinion, he's not. So I think he needs to get his ass.
Idris there.
Uh-oh.
Did I lose you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you were. You just dropped for a second. It seemed like. I'm sorry.
Oh, dang! I might have missed everything. But basically, what I was saying is he need to get his ass in camp. Get your physical, and let's take it from there. But what you're doing now is making yourself undesirable. but people will pass on you. Say, I'm going to go after this other guy. I'm going to go after this free agent, undrafted free agent. I'm going to go after this, whatever. He just need to get it together, get his head out of his ass, go to the facility, and say, okay, look, y'all, let's make this work. I don't want to be here, and I'm pretty sure y'all don't want me here. Let's work something out. He can't just be demanding. You are not CMC.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point too, understand. So at least in post June 1st, which obviously we're way past June 1st, the money that they have to pay him can now be split up into 2 years. So it'll be half this year and half next year. But again, June 1st was 3 weeks ago, and they still haven't done anything about it because he hasn't reported camp, meaning he doesn't have to. They don't have to do anything. So again, he needs to report to make the 49ers make a move. Otherwise, he is literally just going to never be released. Like the Niners don't have any reason to do it other than to stop the drama. But that is also, I think the Niners are also playing hardball on purpose. Like, grow up, like do the right thing for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Come to camp.
Some shit. He don't understand the Niners organization going back to Edward DeBartolo. He don't understand this organization. They're not. I always saw the 49ers as an organization. They're that laid back organization, maybe Hollywood a little bit, but low key, they're like, oh, we're not playing that shit. Just because we're quiet.
John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan are not going to play that.
No, they're not going to play
at
that
all.
shit. And that's how the Niners always been. You're not gonna rough out. You're not gonna strong arm us. You can go all the way back to whoever. Get back to John Brody. You're not gonna strong arm us. They're just not one of those teams that do all that talking about. Yeah, they don't do that. But they let you know you're not. If you want to act stupid, we'll get you out of here.
Gentlemen, this
yes,
organization traded Joe Montana.
Right.
Yep.
If they can trade Joe Montana, a guy who was the greatest winner in the Super Bowl tied to Terry Bradshaw prior to TB12, and some people still feel that Montana is the greatest Super Bowl quarterback. It's, of course, very subjective, but Montana never lost, nor did Bradshaw. But Montana had the moments. He had the fourth quarter go-ahead drives, and he also had the games where he crushed people. So if they could trade him, and if he could be replaced by Steve Young, and if they could move on from, in my opinion, a top 5 fullback during that era in William Barnum Floyd, and if they could move on from Terrell Owens when he was at one point of his career the heir apparent in that offense to Jerry Rice,
right,
and if they can move on from the many great players that they've had over the years, because the 49ers have a lot of Hall of Fame players.
Yes.
They can move on from Brandon Ayuk, but to Shed's point, and he made a good one, you can't do anything unless you're there. And they have no incentive, no reason, no nothing to do anything for this guy. To Shed's point, if you're the Washington Commanders or anybody else that he might name drop on Twitter, why the hell would anyone take him serious when they're seeing this catastrophe go on and they're like, oh, we want to bring this into our facility?
Right.
He's already proven he's not the brightest bulb when he basically took a piss on everything that they set up for him, which I actually thought the 49ers made a boo-boo giving him all that, and now he's proving why possibly it wasn't my reason why I thought it was a boo-boo. I didn't know he was a head case until he kind of told us he was.
Right. And that's good guy shit.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the money. I mean, when I was on a show, I think when he signed, and I was like, I don't know if I would have paid him like that. And he held out, and then right after that, he finally got paid. If you guys recall, he then showed up to practice, and everybody wears the same outfits in practice, like black shorts and a red shirt. He showed up with red shorts and a black shirt, or vice versa, whatever. And, and so Kyle Shanahan's like, you're not above everybody else. Wear the right stuff. So he already thought like he was above everybody else. And then he tore his ACL, MCL, and shattered his kneecap.
Right.
So then he was out, and then he doesn't show up for his rehab assignments to keep his guaranteed money. Again, that's on him.
You're not showing up for your rehab. Twice for the people in the back shed.
Like
guaranteed money.
he lost all the guaranteed money because he simply didn't show up to do his rehab to get back on the field.
And
that to me is irresponsibility. And you're blaming the Niners for that, though. That's on him. That's not on the 49ers.
But I would go as far as questioning past the obvious outside stuff, like, this guy ain't too smart, maybe, and this guy doesn't appear to be too responsible.
Yeah.
Is there something even bigger going on? Is this like a mental health breakdown crisis going on right in front of us? Because, dude, like, to just not be around, I mean, are you that far removed from regular people? Because if me, Shed, Idris just wake up with one day and they're like, F this place, there's a lot of ramifications that come with that.
You know something?
And it puts in perspective, like, how out of touch certain athletes really are, because it's hard to necessarily sell your sob story to most people that support you, people that, are not even in the same economic class by any stretch of any imagination. I mean, these guys are the wealthiest of the wealthy in terms of a small percentage of the population. I mean, you're talking about playing a boys' game, making man money and lots of it. And even if certain aspects of positional value are still not fair, it's a hell of a lot better than a lot of other things that a lot of folks have to do in this country in these times. And it's like, man, you talk about tone deaf? Brendan, now you get your head out of your ass, dude.
You know something? Just my opinion, because I haven't seen him. He might be out of shape.
That's why I brought up the other thing. Like, no one has seen him run. No one has seen him work out. No one has seen him catch passes. All he does is get on Twitter and saying, Niners released me. I'm signing with the Commanders tomorrow. Like, but dude, no one has seen you even run.
Right.
Like, how do we know that your knee is back to what it should be? And how do we know that you're in shape? He needs to be doing.
They already gave him free money. The other team gave him free money. What makes him think that the new employer wants to give him free money? It's really, once 100%. Again, to my point about being tone deaf. Unfortunately, gentlemen, it seems like every offseason we have to deal with bad stories with regard to the players in the NFL. The Detroit Lions, who are on the clock with now this one, Terrion Arnold, here in the great state of Florida, 8 felony charges.
That is
now,
crazy.
Of course, everybody has to have their day in court, and we let the judicial process figure out what happened, what didn't happen, etc. But my understanding, and it's a fluid moving story, and there'll be more stuff coming out, but my understanding is that he filed a police report or made a trip to a police department claiming that he was robbed of X amount of valuables. And my understanding is that the victims of these charges were the people that, according to the story, I'll make that clear, were the people that he pinned as the people who robbed him. So this is a wacky one from jump. And, it's like every team's nightmare in the offseason. I mean, we've always made fun of, playing around amongst us as ribbing each other that football season never starts until the Dallas Cowboy is incarcerated. But the reality is that this is a league-wide problem. I mean, truthfully, guys, I remember DeAndre Baker when the Giants got him. Now, the wackiness about that story is that it actually was proven that it didn't stick and he was actually not doing anything wrong, but just the fallout from everything that went down with it. And go figure, the way that he was exonerated from that was that he was actually playing Madden. And he said, what was I playing Madden with an M16?
Right.
I'm just saying, listen, guys, certain players come from certain previous worlds where things are incredibly rough. And everybody's path to the NFL is not the same. But my whole thing is this. I remember Carnell Lake from the Pittsburgh Steelers when he did a show talking about how he was still funding gangs. And I'm like, dude, you're in a position to get people out of that shit. Why are you still contributing to the war? And, there's no nice way to say it. But when you get to that level, you got to leave certain bad habits alone.
You know something, Richie? I'm glad you said that because I want to expand on that point. Yankee update: 3 hits in the first inning. Goldschmidt scores a run. Dominguez, Rosario, 1-0. Bottom of the first, New York Yankees.
Thank you, Idris. I'm actually the Yankees are on my screen, but it's not the real Yankees. It's MLB The Show, and I'm locking horns with the Philadelphia Phillies.
But speaking on what
currently
you
1-1, Bryce Harper just out of the reach of Aaron Judge, leaping for the wall, and Ali Sanchez, right-handed catcher, backing up Austin Wells, getting his first start in my new season. He singled in Anthony Volpe earlier, and now remember, this is PlayStation World. Idris was talking about the real stuff. You continue, sir.
Right. Expand on what you said. And speaking on the black aspect, true, a lot of us came from rough upbringings. Like my family had money, then my mother had a stroke, and then what's up, Mythic Play? We're gonna get to that, bro. We're gonna get to that. Then my mother had a stroke, and then we went into basically poverty. But however, you kind of have to say to yourself, I want to get out of this. Period. And I'm not saying everyone can, but when you get to that level where you get to college, then you get to the pros. I'm sorry, but I'm not going for the came up rough excuse. I'm not going for that because
you look at the stuff going on with John Morant every year.
Right. I've never made,
and we're going to hit on him in a minute.
Yeah, I've never made more than $57,000 a year. Never made, and that's like the average for the average man in America. These guys make more in one game than I make in a whole year. And you have time to get your act together and say, okay, I am where I am. Let me do what I got to do. But when you're 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the league and you're still doing the same, so what Muhammad Ali say, if you're 50 years old and you're still doing things at 20, you've lost 30 years of your life. So if you're making this money and you had enough education to get yourself through school, which college, I've been to 2 colleges, then you go to the pros. I don't want to hear any excuses about how I had it rough. I had it rough. I don't want to hear that because the average man out here who like Shed, like you, like me, like Zach, like all of us, we're still out here well, I'm retired now, but we're still out here working 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 9, 9 to 11. We're still out here grinding because we have to. We don't make that big money where we can say, okay, I worked 1 year, I could take 5 years off. So I don't want to hear that from any athlete. Make enough in 1 year to say I don't want to play any sports.
And I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be a professional athlete or to make it, so to speak, to grow up.
No,
I'm
you
an
don't.
example of somebody that decided it's time to grow up.
Me too.
You're an example of somebody that decided it's time to grow up.
I did 19 months, and I was like, oh, okay, it's time to get together.
And like I said, Mr. Salam, everybody grows up on their own time, but not everybody is fortunate enough to grow old. So I'm just going to leave that there for now.
Let me add one more.
I think it was, go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're right about that. And the way I look at it is this: if you came from poverty and then you made it to the league, you need to grow up because you need to show the rest like you can do it. But if you're still reckless, I don't want to hear how hard your life was because you had a chance to change it. And I know people are going to call me a sellout.
Now you have excess, and now you have more enabling things to keep you in a very childish kind of mindset. And when you have everything at the tip of your finger, so to speak, it's kind of hard to let those poor habits, childish habits, or just maybe there's a lot to it. There is certainly a lot to it, but with excess comes the temptations of just doing a lot of ignorant stuff. And I know I spoke about John Morant. I'm going to move it to the NBA for a second, guys. I like what the Knicks are doing. I like how they're trying to avoid the second apron by trading back multiple times. It's a very stringent, kind of tedious thing that they got to do with the penny pinching to try to keep Mitchell Robinson in Madison Square Garden moving forward. Of course, you don't want to lose your backup center and one of your first calls when you get into the bench. Of course, Mitchell Robinson losing his starting job to Karl Anthony Towns, but still a vital part of what they do. Now, any champion's going to lose a couple of players. You're going to lose Jordan Clarkson. You're going to probably lose Landry Shamet. But the core is still coming back, and they have a chance to repeat. Now,
did you know him and John Turturro are actually related?
Who's that now?
You know who John Turturro is?
Yeah, John Turturro, I know, but who's he related to?
Oh, Landry Shamet.
Really?
They're actually related. They were joking when they said,
I was not aware.
When you look at them, you say, yeah, they're related.
I was not aware. I honestly wasn't aware. Something interesting, Adrius, that came into our comments the other day. We talked about the greatest point guards. So somebody was in the comments saying how Mark Price was dominant in the 90s, therefore Steph Curry would have been dominant in the 90s. So I kind of backed him up a little. I said, listen, Mark Price was a phenomenal free throw shooter. He had a big heart for an undersized player, and he had a big heart for a guy that didn't have the most athleticism, played on some really good teams. With your family member, Mr. Brad Daugherty. But I made the point that Daugherty was the closest on that team to being dominant. Not an aging Larry Nance, not Mark Price, not Craig Elo. Not, Ron Harper, if used the right way, possibly could have been more dominant in Cleveland.
John Hot Rod Williams,
Yeah, you revisit The Last Dance. If you put Harper on Jordan, possibly a different result. You know, Craig Elo will forever be on that poster shot of what was a lot to come with Jordan being like the lethal assassin at the end of games. But Miami Heat, team that sheds supports to a level. They go and get Giannis Antetokounmpo to pair him with Bam Adebayo. They gave up a litany of picks. Their bench is not going to be what it once looked like. It kind of reminds me a little bit of when the Heatles got together, and that first year you kind of had to gut the bench to make the ends meet. But Hard Rock Bet had Adebayo and Giannis as the best 1-2 punch in the league. I'm like, with all due respect, guys, they haven't played a game together yet. Can we at least wait till we get to the next season? But I'm going to ask you, Shed. I'll bounce it off of you. How do you feel about the Greek Freak coming to South Beach? And do you think that he puts Eric Spoelstra's team in a position to be a championship contender again, even if they suffer a little in year one, given the bench flexibility?
Well, if anybody can make Bam and Giannis work together, it's probably Spoelstra. He's been Coach of the Year and a candidate for Coach of the Year.
Very good coach.
For a reason. He can make it work, right? I mean, but I think they gave up way too much. Giannis is a phenomenal player when healthy. Obviously he was disgruntled and he wasn't in any hurry to come back anytime soon for any reason to play for Milwaukee again. You know, when your teams and you're supporting your team, you're more motivated to come back. You're more motivated to play. Yada yada yada. Blah blah blah. And I just hope that he's not going to, you know, feel entitled, sort of like a Brandon Ayuk situation, you know, in Miami. If he gets disgruntled again and he's going to be like, oh, I'm injured.
That would be kind of messed up if two of your favorite teams both got hit with the entitled bug.
It just, you know, I like Giannis. I think he's an asset to the league. I think he's a great player. I think that after he won that championship in Milwaukee, it might have went to his head a little bit. And they, you know, but I also think he got a little disgruntled because they didn't ever give him any more help. When he was like, "Give me more help, give me more help." And
that's a valid point, Shed.
Never foot the bill. So when you're that player, you're that guy, and you're not getting any support from your organization, you get the result, which is not what Ayuk was. Ayuk had all the kinds of supporting cast he ever freaking needed. But you know, basketball is a different sport with, you know, fewer variables involved, but I think Miami can be very successful with him. I mean, who's going to bring the ball down the court?
That's my question, Shed.
I'll tell you what's honestly interesting about this, Shed.
Who's going to bring the ball?
I think Bam's offensive production takes a slight hit because Giannis is there, because obviously Giannis is going to be the first option on pretty much any team he plays for. I want to throw a blast from the past at you, if this even remotely makes any sort of sense. If LeBron James is willing to take a significant pay cut, does it make any kind of sense for an aging LeBron James to go back to South Beach as opposed to returning to the Lakers? And now you have a three-headed monster. Granted, James is considerably older, but still doing impressive things over the age of 40.
High?
Right. No. Thank you, Shed. But go ahead and continue because you I sound like you're going to say what I'm about to say. But go ahead.
Miami. First of all, Miami doesn't want him.
There it is.
No one. I mean, within reason, he'll put
within
fans
reason,
in the stands and butts in the seats for like Cleveland, for example, would be a great spot for him because he's from there.
And plus, Harden's going to be on the way out, so there's room for him.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, Miami doesn't want him. It's LeBron James, so if Milwaukee would take him just because he'll put fans in the stands, but that's the only reason.
Like, speaking of Milwaukee, the other part of that Giannis.
No one wants him, man.
Thank you for reminding me. So Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
So Tyler Hero goes to Milwaukee, but check this out. Grows up a Bucks fan from the area, wants to be there. There's no guarantee that he's going to be a Buck when the season starts, or no guarantee that he's going to be Buck by next year's trade deadline.
Right.
Because Milwaukee seems to be in a just full-on complete rebuild where they might not view Hero playing for them as valuable as sending him to a contender. Now, Tyler Hero still provides a lot when healthy because he had a bit of a bounce-back year this past season, and I thought he played some of his best basketball in quite some time since he was running around with Jack Harlow in that pandemic video. But one thing that I will say is it's just a lot of bad feedback with the way the NBA draft has been going on, with you got a guy walking in, putting on his hat, getting traded 2 times in the same night.
That's
crazy. I think it's not the same kind of buildup and juice that the NFL has with their draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the outcry from NBA fans or people that want to watch this is it's a little too long and it's a little too wacky. And the NBA is a weird place sometimes. You look at Austin Reeves. The Lakers are able to pay him a ridiculous amount of money, but there's a loophole because of the way he came into the league, where it's not going to count against the salary cap. This is a league that shut down CP3 to hang in LA and play with Kobe. But this is a league that allowed other crazy things to go down when building super teams. I was very vocal, Shed, during the NBA Finals about my disgust with the officials, even questioning Commissioner Adam Silver. I'm very proud of my New York Knicks. I'm sure you know that. It only took, I don't know, well over 3 decades since I've been supporting this team since 1992. But I will say a really good NBA Finals, something they could build on in terms of marketability, ratings, people caring about this NBA Finals. And it's not just because New York is a huge media market. San Antonio has a really good fan base. Wemby is regardless of what you think about him, whether you love him or whether you think he's a goon or somewhere in the middle, Wemby's a hell of a player. This was the highest rated NBA Finals, gentlemen, since 98 Chicago Bulls last dance season over the Utah Jazz. That's pretty crazy to think. So the NBA could capitalize off this, or they could go backwards.
To ride my bike back to Minnesota and Miami, I think if anybody can get, I think if anybody can get them to play together, it's culture. I think my concern is, Giannis has been hurt a lot,
man.
Yep.
Tyler Hero lost. And
also, Shed's point, it's an expensive cost to get a player like that.
And I think with Milwaukee, I think they fell apart when they fired their coach and brought in.
It's a fair point.
I think Giannis had a little more than just a tiff in terms of how that was going to play, because in no other era of the NBA have the players been this empowered, where championship-winning coaches getting camped. It happened to Vogel in LA. It happened to this dude, Budenholzer, I believe was his name.
Budenholzer. Yeah.
Budenholzer, close enough.
Yeah. I felt like
in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I felt like with Milwaukee, I felt like the team is 30-13 in first place, but the players cried.
That part.
You're in first place. You fired this coach, and they hadn't recovered since.
Imagine if the Knicks would have done that when guys were crying about their undefined roles. Mike Brown was breaking them before he was making them. Continue.
And I think with Minnesota, I don't know. I think with Minnesota, did we even get on Minnesota yet?
No, we're going there. No, we're going.
We'll wait on that because I'm looking at.
If you want to speak on it, go ahead. If you want to speak on it, go ahead.
I think Minnesota. I think they got better offensively, but I think they got worse defensively because Julius Randle plays both sides of the ball, and Melo's sweet with the handles, but he couldn't defend he couldn't defend nothing. Like I said, Miami. I'm still iffy on Miami. Like Spo can get them running because that's his team. Pat Riley's like Pat Riley's not interfering, so I feel he can get them going. But golly, man, they're gonna need a bench. I don't know who's gonna be the dependable ball handler, shooter, whatever. I don't know. Like I said, Giannis is hurt too much now, and like Shed said, after that championship, it seemed like Giannis changed because he was humble and yeah. And then after that championship, it seemed like his whole mentality changed to where he felt like that humbleness he had just left. Because I loved Giannis when he won that title. I was so happy for him, and I was rooting for him anyway. But since then, he's just become, excuse my French, just an ass. And that's for the NBA.
Yeah, he's become a bit of a diva post championship for sure.
And with the Knicks, I
that
feel
was
like
a weird series because they came back from two games down, and that ultimately changes the final career trajectory of Chris Paul as he leaves the league without an NBA championship because he was on the other side of that. Monty Williams got fired not long after that.
He got fired too. Yes. With the Knicks, I feel with them, I feel the NBA does need to get on this because they had OKC, but we saw. And as a Knicks fan, I'm not saying because I'm a Knicks fan, but you can admit it. The Knicks brought a lot of buzz to this. It's more buzz than it had been against San Antonio versus Cleveland. And the Knicks brought worldwide buzz to the NBA. I mean, it was already global, but
it was exciting. It was different, and I'll be honest, Eaters. Dare I say, a bit unexpected. I knew the Knicks going into this, despite underachieving during the regular season, had a legitimate shot to make the finals. Because I felt like Boston wasn't completely Boston. Tatum missed such a big part of the year. The Sixers, they have some pieces, but Embiid should walk away from the league.
Yeah, he's got
Miami in a transition kind of season. Indy wasn't in the playoffs because of the Halliburton injury. We already spoke about the dysfunction in Milwaukee. Detroit definitely underachieves, finishing as a 1 seed. But to be fair, the team that beat them underachieved as a 1 seed the previous year. So Cleveland had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They take it to Detroit in a critical Game 7. The crazy thing is they win 5-7 on the road, which is very hard to do. And then they blow a massive lead in a career kind of game for Donovan Mitchell in his hometown. Knicks basically were unconscious at that point. But an exciting season. And one that the NBA could build on if they do things the right way. But one thing I'm going to say, and I think we could all as a panel agree on this, officiating. I know in the NFL we've ripped on this, even in baseball before this, umpire assistance thing, like with the likes of Angel Hernandez and some of these terrible umpires. The NBA better be careful. You do not want to make people think that they're watching this and it's a rigged product. Or just an inconsistent product with the poor officiating. The officials have to do better because this is the weird caveat. If the Knicks would have lost Game 5, I'm very curious to see what the NBA was going to do about that Wemby thing. And this is, and it's still open for debate. If it's supposed to be the final flagrant and the league could look at it after the fact, obviously there wasn't a Game 6, he should be suspended for his next game, and that will be in late October. But you get where I'm going with this. It makes you feel like, oh, he's Wemby. He's marketability. We can't give him a flagrant. That'll put him at, I'm like, guys, but you can't be doing kung fu out there either.
Got that right. And you know what? I remember hearing a long time ago, they always said when New York and LA are good, basketball is good. And regardless of how I feel about LA, they were a good team. You know, they're a championship contender. You know, I mean,
and their royalty in terms of the
Mhm.
co-share of the most NBA titles ever. We spoke a little bit earlier in the show about this. So Anthony Edwards teaming up now with LaMelo. I'll be honest, guys. I have higher expectations for the Milwaukee duo. I have a bad feeling about what Minnesota's got cooking, and in part what you said. You know, Randall's a Brooklyn net now. Defense takes a hit. DiVincenzo's coming off that Achilles thing. But truthfully, I don't like the personalities meshing. I don't think this is going to be good.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Anthony Edwards is a dominant player, and LaMelo is a conceited player, and he's gonna want the ball. He's gonna want to control everything. And Anthony Edwards is the guy there and has been the guy there, and LaMelo's gonna try to shit on that, for lack of a better term, because he wants to try to be the guy. And I don't know how that's going to go. That's going to be on the head coach. Maybe Anthony Edwards and LaMelo can figure something out, but those personalities do not mesh very well.
I don't like it. It reminds me, just to age myself as the dinosaur that I am, it reminds me of the Dallas Mavericks back when Jay Kidd and Roy Tarpley and Mashburn and all those dudes were together, and they were all young. And they were all immature, and they couldn't get along. Or maybe we'll keep it in Minnesota. KG and Steph. Neither one of them were mature enough to know how special they could have been if they would have just seen it through. I'm not going to go as far as Penny and Shaq, because Penny and Shaq were seeing it through. It's just Shaq kind of knew he was a different kind of special in terms of not just on the court, but marketability. He needed to go to bigger lights. And I'm sorry, Orlando doesn't provide that. And Orlando dropped the ball.
I think Minnesota messed up. I really do. I think they messed up because you got two ball-dominant players. You know, it didn't work with CP3 and Westbrook. It doesn't work when you got two. Somebody has to take a bit backseat, because if you look at Miami, you know, Wade was a ball-dominant player. Bosh was in Toronto. And we knew what LeBron was, but they knew in order for us to win, we know we got to have one guy who's the man, and we got to step back. And with LeBron,
they took turns with that, particularly in year one. But it also hurt them in the finals.
Yeah, with LeBron, you know, I talk my trash about him, but I have to admit, you know, when he went back to Cleveland, Kevin Love took a back seat. Now, Kyrie didn't take a back seat, but Kyrie was also he was also the guard. So, you know, he gonna do his thing. But Richard Jefferson took a back seat. Kyle Korver, all of them took a back seat because they knew they can be
part of winning a championship. Guys have to make sacrifices if you want to get to the top of the mountain, because some guys care about
Brunson is the most recent one.
Right, look at our
example of that.
I appreciate that, Shed. I appreciate that because, you know, Becky Hammond, I respected her as a player. To be honest, I respect her. Yeah, she did apologize, but it still came with conditions.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you gonna do? All I'm gonna say is he got a lot of flack, and not just from Becky Hammond. You know, Stephen A. had to apologize, and to the rousing boos of the MSG faithful, which I thought was pretty cool. Because if you're gonna serenade somebody, you got to do it like if Roger Goodell's coming up to announce a pick. I like it. Matt Barnes, another guy doubting Jalen, and just a lot of, you know, fans that only show up if Brunson has one of those bad nights.
Yeah,
Rick did a terrific job of preparing Jalen for these moments, and as a Knicks fan, I couldn't be happier. I'm not comfortable putting him all the way at the top of the list because Clyde Frazier still has 2 rings, and Patrick Ewing, the argument can be made that he might be the greatest Knick because of the fact that he got them close in the Jordan era. And those Knicks teams tested the Bulls like few were able to. I think it's all subjective. I don't like getting into the who's better and who's this and who's that. I think as a sports fan, I will try to just be thankful and celebrate all of them because they played in different eras, to be fair. And there's a lot of subjectivity when we're talking about who's the best of a franchise or the entire sport, because Before Michael Jordan, there was Dr. J. Before Magic Johnson, there was Elgin Baylor. There was always somebody before, and people take it to new levels. So that's kind of where I'm at with, particularly in basketball, because although basketball is a team sport, it's also an individual sport in a lot of ways. It depends how you look at it. Right. Because you could talk about the team all you want, but when Jalen Brunson puts down 45 points after being hella unselfish all series, and it wasn't about a selfish thing. It was like, we got to win this game, and I'm the guy that's going to make sure it happens.
The funny thing
49
about that,
for the rest of the Knicks.
The funny thing about that, Richie, I saw at the press conference, he didn't even know he scored that much. I think Cat was like, he scored 40. He said,
I
scored
could believe that. It's like a fighter not knowing that he's bleeding.
Right.
It's kind of like a baseball player maybe not realizing how far a home run went, or just like actions in the motion of things. I can see that.
I had a boxing match where I got dropped. The guy hit me so hard, he dropped me. I won the fight, and I don't even remember being dropped. He said, dude, he dropped me the first round. I said, real? He said, yeah, you came out swinging. He popped you. You dropped. And I won, right? He said, yeah. I was like, oh, shit. I didn't even know I won until they told me. I was like, yeah, you won. Like, damn. And to this day, I don't know.
I hung out with Brett about a month ago. He dropped. I didn't punch him. He just kind of felt it was gravity taking its course.
Well, Brett.
He was getting into the whiskey, and things happened.
I think it's time to fire Brett again. We ain't fired him in a year.
He fell on his grass, so I was thankful that there was no way that he could have gotten injured. But
Brett,
it's just like a little cub. It's like you pick him off the ground and you just get him back to safety.
Brett, come back on the show. We hadn't fired over 2 years. He hadn't been fired, so we owe you 2 fires, dude.
All right.
There's something to be said, by the way, for a guy that just completely is just playing the game, not watching the stats.
Yeah.
You know who does watch the stats? LeBron. He knows exactly what the fuck he's doing.
He knows.
But there's people like Jalen Brunson.
I was trying not to do LeBron. They did it.
but those are the facts.
You're right. I mean, I was trying to avoid.
What's funny, guys?
LeBron, but you did it for me.
I'm gonna let Shed go. My bad, Shed. You go. I'm not holding this thought.
Oh no, I'm just saying that there's something to be said for a player that the reason why a lot of people don't watch the NBA anymore is exactly why, or like a LeBron thing. Like they're just watching stats, they're just pointing, or they're just padding things, this and that. They're flopping. There's something to be said for a player like Jalen Brunson that doesn't do any of those things. And again, I scored 45. Wait, seriously?
Right.
Like he was just playing the game to play and playing to win. He didn't care about how many points he had, how many assists he had, how many rebounds he had. Only thing he was focused on was winning. That's a killer. That's a Michael Jordan attitude, a Kobe Bryant attitude that has been lost in the league, which is why no one watches it anymore.
But
it's players' mentality like that is why the NBA, which is why people were watching the NBA Finals more than any other NBA Finals since 1998, because there's a player like that that's playing that people want to watch and respect.
And you know what? The thing about that, I remember at the I think it was the end of the Cleveland series, and they was talking about how they was talking to them, and like I said, at the end of that, the first thing Cat said to Brunson when they won at midcourt, 4 more, and when you saw them at the interview, they all said, "We got to get it done. This is not over." Like that Josh Hart, he was like, and he's a very Christian guy. He rarely curses. He was like, "F that. It's 0-0. We got to be desperate." He's like, and they were up 2. I think it's up 1 on a 2. He said, "No, it's 0-0. We got to be desperate." And that's the mentality he kept. Like, we won this, but we still got to win tomorrow. But then you look at San Antonio, they were celebrating after they beat OKC, like they won the NBA final. And just like Josh Hart said, we looked at them and they act like they won, like they was going to walk through us. And we remembered that they won their championship when they beat OKC. But we know we had to keep on playing. That's a winner's mentality. That's Kobe.
Correct.
That's Mike.
Great.
We come to 100%,
100% Idris, 100% Shed. I wholeheartedly believe that, it is sometimes when you're trying to get people back into caring about your league, you need a villain and you need somebody that people could get behind. And I'm not saying that in everybody's story or city or household, Wemby was the villain and Brunson was like, the hero or the David and Goliath kind of matchup. But one thing that is interesting that I think a lot of NBA heads have seen now is that Wemby's reputation takes a little bit more of a precedent as, yeah, he's phenomenal. This kid is special. He's young still. He's not even tapped into his full potential. He's a little dirty. And now that could be something that, and it's not like being labeled a dirty player is a death sentence. I mean, the Detroit Pistons did rather well for themselves. Mm-hmm. Isaiah Thomas, by some metrics, was considered a dirty player, as was more so post-retirement John Stockton, of all people, the guy who looks like a camp dad. So it's like you really don't know. Like I love these podcasts, like with KG and Pierce and all these dudes that were playing in the golden era, because now it's like you hear all these like very detailed stories about certain players' behaviors, and if you were watching the shit back then, it kind of resonates with you now, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Shed, you haven't been here in a while. There's really no GPS system on where we're going, but I'm enjoying the conversation. I do want to ask you, though, how do you feel about the Yankees on the whole? I feel that Aaron Boone, all things considered, is doing a pretty good job, considering that you have injuries at key positions, and he's already dealt with the injury storm in the pitching staff. But I like what Aaron Boone has done situationally. I have a question for you, too, after you answer this, and I'm going to pass it to Idris as well.
What's your question?
Okay. Well, what's the question?
Yeah, what's the question?
That really. I just did the OG Ananobi.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, what you got in that beer, man?
No, I was looking at this and I was like, did he just freeze? No, dude. All right. I think I psyched myself out about. I asked you what you think about the Yankees. This is my question.
You know what that remind me of, Richie? When we were down in Jacksonville, and he was winning all that stuff. He was fried.
Yeah, I was pretty fried. I was like, buddy, you're gonna need to read these raffle tickets and tell me if I need to stand on stage.
One bingo 3 times. I mean, like, golly, that don't happen in a lifetime. But go ahead.
Nah, man, I kept winning stuff, all kinds of giant stuff. Shouts out front lineups. All right, Shed, my question to you, sir. Giancarlo Stanton, polarizing topic all the time with the New York Yankees. Do you believe that he's a hindrance to the team coming back whenever he actually does, because of the fluidity of the lineup, the versatility, guys that you can mix and match in? I don't want him back right now. I love what Goldie and Rice are doing together, and I also like Volpe and Caballero being able to coexist on the field.
You got to play him.
That's the bitch of it. You're right, and that's the bitch of it.
And I mean, you can throw him in right field. Honestly, if you have to, if you want. Well, I mean, you're not going to put Goldie in right field, and he's played right field before, and you put Ben Rice on first, and you DH Goldie because Goldie's been playing out of his mind.
Yes.
Well, the crazy thing is Goldie's been getting the brunt of the starts at first and really showing off the leather. Like, I'm so impressed with him right now, dude.
He's good. Yeah, no, he was always good, but I mean, he's just getting up there in age, but he's still got it. He's
certifying that he's going to be a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, without a doubt. He hasn't. I mean, he's slowed down, but he's still like a formidable player, and that's why the Yankees, re-signed him. Anthony Volpe thing. He's still a liability in the outfield at shortstop. I mean, I just can't with him. They've given him so many chances, and I want to believe, guys. I really do. I mean, at what point do you just? I mean, I'd rather have Caballero in there. Long story short,
I'll be honest. I share your sentiment on that because this is the thing, Chad, and the reason why I brought up Stan. Aaron Boone did things this year, along with the check mark with Brian Cashman, that they didn't do in previous years. Nobody's guaranteed nothing because of name value, salary, or anything else. Luis Gil gets sent down to the minors. Anthony Volpe, recovering from an injury. Nah, bro. Go to the minors. Jose's playing well right now. Now you have a situation with G being injured, that Goldie is getting a brunt of work at first with Rice actually embracing the DH role. Then you got a guy like Ahmed Rosario, who's always, what's been his Waterloo? He can't play the field. He's playing it efficiently enough to not hurt you too bad where he could actually – I mean, I got more issues with Volpe's glove than I do with Rosario, which I can't believe I'm even saying. But all in all, there's more bad than good. More good than bad, excuse me. But the weird thing with this team is that it seems like every time that you're going to have some kind of roster conundrum, it naturally works itself out due to an injury.
Sort of. I mean, how about this? Just spitballing. Why don't you put Ben Rice behind the plate? He was a catcher.
That is a possibility. And for a short period of time, it could work.
That's what I mean. Keep going.
I think the Yankees' worry is they don't want that to affect his offense.
Agreed. But if you, I mean, let's put it this way. You're in Game 7 of the World Series and you're playing the Dodgers. You want your best lineup out there. You're going to put him behind the plate. You're going to put Goldie at first.
You're going to do whatever you got to do to get them all out there.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're in some sort of predicament where you want all your best players on the field at all times and you're still having the DH, which is you put Stanton at DH, obviously Judge will be in right. Caballero at short. But what I'm saying is you put your best players out there as much as you possibly can. You don't have to keep Ben Rice at catcher, but you can throw him in there once a week, twice a week, right? And then you can still have your better lineup.
Even I have considered, because I'm like, I just don't want to live in a world where Ben Rice is sitting on the bench or Paul Goldschmidt's sitting on the bench, because you got to put that big albatross at DH because of the contract. And I don't even have nothing against G. I think he's a professional. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, like, he offers no versatility. He's always injured. They say that sometimes the only way to get rid of a bad contract is to welcome another bad contract. So if I'm Brian Cashman, I'm looking over the books and I'm like, what bad contract could I bring in that could possibly help this team more? And listen, I'm not trying to paint G with a bad brush that he hasn't helped this team.
Right.
There's no World Series in 24 if he doesn't have the ALCS he does. He's helped this team immensely over the years. I just consider when you think about what they gave this dude versus what he's capable of doing in terms of health, in terms of versatility, it was a bad contract, guys. There's no going around it. Winning an MVP with at the time, Florida Marlins is not the same kind of thing as winning one in the big cities, whether it's Boston, New York, LA, Chicago. You know, it's not the same thing. But I don't know. He hasn't been a bad Yankee. He just hasn't lived up to what they thought they would get.
I don't trust him in the field because he can't stay healthy anyway. I think the only thing left of him is being a DH, and you can't even stay healthy to be a DH.
Bro, I don't want that guy running.
No,
you ever see that guy run? It looks like he's got like a piano on him.
Yeah, like Cecil Fielder. Yeah, I mean, like Cecil Fielder. And
like he's an Adonis. He's an Adonis.
Yeah, like Goldie.
But the man just always gets injured.
Yeah, Goldie. He could play the field, but I don't want to put him out there because Goldie's up. He's 38, 39 years old, something like that.
Yeah, he's approaching 40 in the next year and a half.
Yeah. So him being on first, whatever, with Ben Rice, I agree. I love John Carr. I've always liked him. I really did. I've always liked him.
I respect him because he takes well to the criticism, and it's required to wear the pinstripes because New Yorkers are hard on their players.
Hardcore.
Make no mistake. The New York media market is not for the faint of heart.
I was going to make that comment, Richie, that he handles himself well. Like when he's playing bad, he owns up to it. He doesn't make excuses. He knows he has to do better. He's been a good Yankee. So I don't hate the guy. I don't. Right. He handled himself well. Go ahead, Idris.
That's what I'm going to say. Same thing. So, but it comes to a point where you say we got to move on, man. We got to move on.
And sometimes you just gotta take it as a loss. Yeah. Like Hal Steinbrenner, have you ever spent money on something stupider than that? It's okay if you got to pay him for a couple of years. I know the Marlins eventually take over the payments, but I think it's toward the very end, like his last year or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got 3 years left, I believe. What year? I think this dude is off the books in 28. If I'm not mistaken.
28. I thought it was 29. It might be 28.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we still got 3 years left on this. So
could have had Bryce Harper.
Oh man, Mike Trout. Mike Trout.
Oh, he's another guy.
At the time when we got him, he was the MVP. He was going to have Judge behind him, and they were going to hit
Judge
50 plus home runs every year. And every things just didn't work out. He got ever since he had those really good years in Florida, it just didn't work out as far as health goes. But at the time, it was the biggest signing in Major League Baseball at the time. It just didn't work out.
It's valid.
It could have happened to any other team too.
And the problem is that finding a suitor, finding somebody that's willing to flip bad money for more bad money is a weird proposition. And that's what makes it so hard moving this guy. And he has a no trade clause. Like, I know he likes Petco, I know he likes the West Coast, but you would have to send him somewhere where he actually wants to be, and that's a very short list. And the Mets are not competitive, so there's no interest in going there because that idiot Uncle Stevie will probably pay him.
He will. He will. He will. He probably can get him like
we're getting asses and seats. Flushing.
He'd pay him just to put an extra couple fans in the stands.
Yeah, $2,105 million. He'll do it. That's Stevie.
I mean, I don't know though. I mean, Pete Alonso hits home runs at a better ratio than Giancarlo Stanton, and he didn't get retained by the Mets. So who knows? Maybe the Mets are doing what John Henry and co has been doing in Boston. True. They just don't care anymore.
Well, it's the Mets, so
Yeah, that's true. I just expected them to pretend for a little longer. I never accused New York of being their city. I just thought maybe they would have pretended a little better for a little longer.
It's the Mets. It's the Mets.
My goodness.
They don't pretend that they suck. They suck.
Shed, since the last time I spoke to you, at least on the show, Odell Beckham's back in the NFL. Do you think this man has any juice left where maybe just putting that uniform back on might revitalize something within his competitive gene? Plus, Malik Neighbors is injured. That's the real reason he's probably going to make the roster.
That's a great question. I think so. I would just keep my expectations low. I think he's still got good hands. Remember, his mom was a world-class gold medalist runner. His dad was a professional athlete.
Yes, sir.
He is no slouch. I mean, I'm sure he's taken care of himself as far as like working out, unlike Brandon Ayuk. But I'm sure he's lost a step or two, but his hands are probably still there. And as long as he actually comes to camp and actually takes it seriously, which I would expect he would, because John Harbaugh would not play that game. And he gets a little rapport going with Jackson Dart. I mean, he started the season, save for Isaiah Likely, he's your number one wideout. I mean,
Isaiah Likely is going to be a nice little pickup for fantasy football this year for the tight end market. I think Isaiah Likely is going to thrive in this offense. And I'm really excited being a Notre Dame fan, bringing in Malachi Fields. Dart definitely has some weapons now. And even with Neighbors being on the shelf possibly until the beginning of October, I think that they brought in enough where he's going to be able to survive. Because he did more than survive last year with a much worse receiving corps.
I think so, too.
A worse receiving corps? Wan'Dale Robinson was pretty good.
Well, Wan'Dale Robinson, yes, but I think the reason I say that is because there was still no leak. But after Wan'Dale Robinson, that was a steep fall.
Go ahead, Idris.
Yeah, I think Dart will do well because, like I said, last year we was so messed up coaching wise. We didn't know what we had going on. We were in and out with the lineup.
Defeat from the jaws of victory.
Right, we didn't have that, but see now we have a type of coach who's head first. Let's go. This is what I want, and you see he's built that offensive line. The offensive line was pretty good last year. It's probably one of the best
compared to what we were used to seeing with that putrid pass blocking. And man, I'm traumatized when I think about how many draft picks were squandered on terrible offensive line picks.
Yeah, our line the best has been in the last 14, 15 years. So I think Dart will excel this year. And I think also Harbaugh's going to tell him, look, get down, man. We need you. Get down.
Seriously.
But they're coming. They're going, and you know, I don't want to turn this political, and I think it's messed up that he's getting the heat he got. But I think they're going to play on that Trump thing, and I think it's unfair to him. You know, let this man play football. Leave him alone. You know what he did, what he felt politically. He's not a bad kid. I mean, leave him alone.
Not
but
by
I think
any means.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to use that against him, which I think it will be unfair. Like I see a lot of Giants fans. I'm not a Giants fan. Well, bye. We don't need you. That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Period.
That's how I feel about the matter, because at the end of the day, there's levels to the way you support people in politics, and that was like the lowest level of it. You know, Hulk Hogan was a higher level of it. But neither here nor there. It's no secret that in New York City, the current president is not well received. But my bigger issue with this whole thing is I don't like the whole going after each other on social media.
No.
And I don't like the way that people frame things. Whether you like Trump, whether you hate Trump, whether you like Jackson Dart, whether you agree with this, whether you don't. It's my whole point that I really don't care for is the way that people frame things to divide people. That angers me more than anything that people are actually mad about.
And they're going to keep playing it. And I'm like, let this kid play football.
Yes, indeed.
What
I mean, memes are memes and jokes are jokes. And, you know, like I said it already, you got to have tough skin to play in New York.
But label him a racist? Hell no.
Nah, that's a different level of stupidity. That's a different level of unfounded stupidity.
That's why I tell these Giants fans, if it offended you that he went to that Republican convention, that you want to stop being a fan, bye. We don't need you. Bye. We don't need you. Because one thing about sports, it doesn't matter what your race is, what your political belief is, what your dinner is. It's a sports. When we get in that stadium, when we get in front of that TV, we are sports fans. So
I don't give a damn. The thing that I like about even playing sports is that it brings people from all kinds of dynamics together for the greater good. And I'm going to toot the horn of the Knicks one final time. The Knicks there was no better example than the New York Knicks when you look at the diversity on that team. But I will say something that's pretty funny. The NYPD really thought that Tyler Kolek was just a fan. That was hilarious.
That was hilarious. So the way I look at it is, you can vote who you want to vote for. Just don't be an ass about it. Jackson Dart is my quarterback. I don't care if he's Republican. I don't care if he's Democrat. I don't care if he's an independent. I don't give a damn. I don't care if he's black, white. He's my quarterback. And he's going to win me a Super Bowl this year. Okay? Y'all heard that, right? Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy, but y'all can't see my face. He's going to win me. He's going to win me a Super Bowl.
I think you're crazy.
In the words of Ryan Wagner, I just want to see your face. Nah, but shit, I do want to ask you this.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Finish your thought. I'm sorry. I'll wait a second.
Oh no. You're right. No. I was just gonna make a comment about your defense. I think your defense is going to take a step forward this year. I think Tibbs is specifically because it's a contract year, and people are he's all over the trade market rumors, of course, like he was last year, and he's well aware of the situation, right? He needs to show up this year, and as long as he's healthy, I expect him and Abdul Carter and Brian Burns to just straight up light it up. Your back end's a little bit better
to see
now.
Arvell Reese, what he brings to the table, and then you also
Arvell Reese is such a big asset. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good, but and you got a veteran in Tremaine Edmonds, who I think is going to help with Arvell Reese transitioning in that aspect of, because he's kind of a tweener. He's a linebacker. He can play that little safety. Reliable tackler. Arvell Reese, from a talent-based standpoint, does a lot of things really well. But, when you get to the next level, you got to kind of have a defined role of what am I going to be for whatever coaching staff I'm playing for. But I can understand why they want that route. And I'll be honest with you, even getting CeCe with your second pick as opposed to getting Caleb Downs, I understand it because you have to protect your investment. And your investment is your quarterback.
I expand on what Shed said. I think with K5, he knows his contract year, and he sees the coach we have, and I think he will. I think K5 is going to ball out this year, and if he does, and the Giants do well, there's a good chance he wants to stick. Because, like I said, he's giving Evan Neal a chance. He said, "Look, I'm gonna see what this kid got this year." So who knows what he might do?
But it's so low risk. Like, what do you really have to lose? And that's kind of how I see it. And the injury to Neighbors, maybe they get lucky. And like I said at the top of this segment, maybe Odell has something left. Before we get out of here, I do have one more question for Shed and Idris. Anything that's on your mind.
Yeah.
The same day that Odell signed with the New York Giants, the mega trade with Myles Garrett going to the Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, the Rams and the 49ers are fierce rivals. And this is a division where the Seattle Seahawks are going to be your defending world champions. So my question to Shed is, how does he feel about the NFC West on the whole? Before here he is.
Sorry.
He's there.
Did you catch that, Shed?
Yeah, I caught all of it. Yep, you wanted to know about Myles Garrett being traded to the Rams and the Seahawks being the champions and how the NFC West is holding up. Fuck off. How's that? This is like the Leonard Williams fucking trade to the Seahawks when I was like,
they always find your division. They always
DeAndre Hopkins.
Dude,
no. I mean, it's all. It just again, I'm probably biased because my team's the Niners, but yes, the Niners signed Mike Evans, but man, Myles Garrett's 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, definitely the best active pass rusher in the NFL.
Yeah, he's nasty.
Just went to the freaking Rams. All right, they should have been in the Super Bowl. I mean, arguably, I mean, Seattle was freaking dominant. There's no doubt about it. But, dude, come on.
Either team would have won. Either team would have beat New England last year, and that's not a knock on New England. Question. It's just praising how good the NFC West was.
I mean, I don't know where the Rams have any money left. Now we're talking about Aaron Donald coming out of retirement.
Yeah, imagine if that goes down.
I hope he doesn't come back.
I mean, you're going to put him next to Myles Garrett. Where do you have the money? I just don't get it.
Maybe Aaron Donald plays for free.
They make it all work.
Maybe Aaron Donald just plays for free.
He might play for the minimum.
Either way, the Rams are obviously the front runners for the Super Bowl for a reason now, right?
Good reason, but don't sleep on Kyle Shanahan's ability to enhance his coaching when Sean McVay's on the other side, because Kyle Shanahan is still that dude.
Something. That's the thing about the NFC West. That team, that division is like anyone can win it. But you know who the front runners are. You know it's the Rams. And no matter how hurt the Niners are, the Niners.
Yeah, the Niners are always going to give 125%. They always do, and it's a credit to their coach. You got to give that to Kyle Shanahan. His team is always ready to go to war, no matter who's available.
And if Arizona can get themselves a quality, I mean, I know Jacoby said, but if they can get themselves a quality quarter, well, they got one. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but man, Jeremiah Love this year, that's going to be fun to watch.
Dang, dude, the West is
Darian Price also in that Notre Dame backfield. He's joining Seattle as he replaces the reigning Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, who goes over to KC. Him and Charbonnet are going to be sharing duty there.
I think
Charbonnet's not going to play till like November, December if he's lucky, but
it'll be like week 8, week 9, maybe later than that. Yeah, I believe so, but I think the Rams and the Niners are going to unseat Seattle. I think Seattle's going to take a huge step back, not because they're a bad team, but because the Rams are going to be the Rams, and we see what Shanahan can do with anything.
I said this to Hugh recently. Mm-hmm. Adams getting injury prone, and Stafford does have the back issues. I want to see if the Rams will be all right in the event if Stafford went down for an extended period of time. It's interesting to see what would happen, but I don't know, man. That division is so damn good and so damn competitive that it really could go either way in the postseason, because the Rams could be the best team in the NFL this year, but it only takes one bad Saturday or Sunday in the playoffs to end it all. And it's not like
I I think the
It's
Niners
impossible.
I think the Niners might be number 2 because you have a healthy quarterback room now.
And now you're going to see what Ricky Pearsall could possibly bring to the table.
Right.
You have Mike Evans, who I think is going to have a little bit of a revitalization after having this first substantial injury of his pro career and breaking up that 1,000-yard streak. I think Evans is going to be a big asset over there.
You got him and you got Kittle coming across the middle.
You got Mr. Everything at running back.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy doesn't get a lot of love from the certain media outlets, but that man can play. I don't care what anybody says. Brock Purdy can play.
CMC is the business. He's the business. CMC is
and
the business.
My big thing is with the 49ers is Bosa's healthy now. Michael Williams, who their first round pick was last year, towards ACL, he's going to be healthy. Fred Warner, still probably we'll see how he is after his broken ankle, but probably the best side to side linebacker in the NFL. He's going to be healthy this year. And Raheem Morris should hopefully provide some stability on that as a defensive coordinator. Robert Saleh was great last year, but this is now the 5th defensive coordinator in 5 years. And
that's
Saleh
not
was,
easy, man.
The start of that, though. Saleh, then what's his nuts? The Houston Texans coach. Then Nick Soriano.
What is it?
D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico Ryans. So they just keep going through them. And Steve Wilkes was one, and then Saleh again, and now it's Raheem Morris. But Raheem Morris should provide some stability. He's been trying to work with Kyle Shanahan for years.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping and thinking, because him and Kyle Shanahan are really tight too, that Saleh came in just
I'll put it to you like
buy
this,
time.
I think there's a strong possibility the West is sending 3 teams to the playoffs.
Exactly.
They did last year, but you don't know. I mean,
Daisy. Chill, Daisy.
Do you hear her?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Daisy, we are not talking about the Georgia Bulldogs. We are talking football. Chill out. Oh, she heard that.
First division in NFL history to have 3 12-win teams to go to the playoff. I mean, that's just nuts. But
and either one could have went to the Super Bowl. The
Niners had no shot with all the injuries they had. They had guys legit that were on the starting lineup the week before.
They could have got there. They could have got there. Not win, but they could have got there. I think with the Niners, I think Raheem Morris is not a good head coach, but he's a damn good DC. So I think with him and Shanny, him and Shanny, I mean, I say the West is going to be busy. I think Seattle's going to take a step back because the Niners will be healthy, the Rams. So it's going to be tough, man. I think 1 and 2 are the West. I think those are the 2 top teams on paper right now. That's just my
I gotta mention this, guys.
NFC.
Gotta mention this before we get out of here. Shed, like I said, you haven't been here for a while. What are your honest thoughts about the New England Patriots losing Steph Diggs but replacing him with A.J. Brown? And also, A.J. Brown's forever favorite coach, Mike Vrabel, and Diana Rossini, and all the fallout from that. Do you think this is something similar to like how Idris mentioned the Dart and the Trump thing? Do you think Rossini and Vrabel is going to be something that people don't leave him alone about for the remainder of the season too?
The Trump thing is completely separate. No, this is. I think that the AJ Brown thing was his time in Philadelphia was coming to an end because of the scandal that we all found out about after the fact. I do think he's a younger and better wide receiver than Stephon Diggs, and New England didn't want to deal with a Stephon Diggs. He's older, for one, and two, he's not the same player he was, and he still came with drama. He had the off the field issues. So letting him walk was the right move. And then obviously I think they had that contingency plan where we're going to let Diggs walk and we're going to bring in AJ Brown and we'll work something out with Philadelphia, which is exactly what they did. And to touch on the Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini thing, it's nowhere near as political or any of the other nonsense with the Trump thing. It's just more or less, if you're an opposing fan, of course you'll break his balls about it, Diana Rossini's balls about it. But if you're a Patriots fan, like they're not going to stop supporting Vrabel for doing what he did, right?
And I mean,
like
to be fair, given the Patriots' history, this is like low-level stuff.
Correct. They're making something out of nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're
yes,
talking about the
it's something, but not that big of a thing.
Pissing on planes, serial killers. This is just infidelity. No bigs, guys.
And you know what? That's
Handygate. Comparingly.
Hey, and that's how
Handygate with Kraftman.
Yeah. That's how I feel about them knuckleheads who said they're not going to watch any Giants football because y'all are damn lie. Y'all some damn liars. Y'all gonna sit there and watch them games. Shut the hell up.
They're just looking for clicks and attention.
Give them a month. Give them a month. They're gonna be like, man, Sunday sucks.
Don't give them the attention. Just don't give them the attention.
There's some shit. It never crossed my mind not to watch a Giants game. I'm like, oh well.
Never. And I've said this since day one, man. I've always worshipped the organization before anybody because, the organization and the fans are going to be there after the players come, go, and whatever. And just the fact of the crazy blow up, I'm like, man, you people got too much damn time on your hands.
As a resident Brown guy, listen. Look, to my black people, shut the hell up. Excuse my language, I'm getting ready to say. Y'all niggas gonna watch every damn game, okay? Shut the hell up. That's it for me.
Final thought shed, and I got one burning before we leave.
Yo.
Let's go.
Uh-oh.
All right.
One up the hands. Here we go. Yeah, Clarkson.
All right. It's really hard to be a dynasty in general in professional sports. I'm not keeping this to any particular sport. Obviously, the Dodgers just went back-to-back. That's the first time that happened since the 2000 Yankees. It's a two-parted question. I know, I hate that.
Oh, sorry.
Do you think the Dodgers will three-peat? That's part one of the question. And number two is, who will be the next team to be a dynasty? In any sport. That is basically for any sport.
Yes, the Dodgers are probably going to three-peat unless by some miracle, and I don't wish injuries upon anybody for any reason, unless those injuries happen or something, because they have so much talent. There isn't a player on their starting lineup that you're just like, I'm just going to pitch around this guy to get to that guy.
You got to account for everyone for sure.
It's just too tough. Is there potential for a team to beat them? Of course, there always is. But no, I think the Dodgers could absolutely three-peat. Again, they're just throwing money at guys, and no one can compete with it. There's no salary cap in baseball. To answer your
my
question
apologies. 99 is the last time that anybody went back-to-back. 2000 was the three-peat.
And to answer your question about the next possible dynasty, great question. In any sport.
Anything you like, anything you're looking down the pike that maybe they're not even there yet, but they could be there. It's a good question.
It is a great question. Trying to think. How about the Carolina Hurricanes?
That's a safe one, but also an educated one because
it's a safe one because they just went back to the NHL.
But the Canes.
No, but having said that, it's also an educated one because if you know hockey, Carolina is supposed to have at least two more legitimate shots to win a cup.
Yes.
We've seen the trends. Tampa Bay Lightning. And I think the funniest
years ago.
Yeah, and Florida Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the President's Cup. I just wanted to say that President's Trophy, rather. I hate that damn thing. The Rangers, every time they get that, something bad happens in the playoffs. Well, not just them. I mean, everybody. But good show, gentlemen. I had a lot of fun. Shed, we got to make sure we start bringing you back into the fold a little more frequently. Definitely good to hang out. And I appreciate both of you getting the thing started for me as I had to step out for about 10 minutes. And Shed, let him introduce you next time, all right? What are you doing over there?
Yeah, I apologize. It was silent. It was silent, and I was just like, hey, what's going on, guys?
No, it was funny because you get that little 3-second like delay sometimes from speaker to speaker. I was laughing. I was in my neighborhood driving back in, and I was like,
JK jumped out with the parachute already open.
No, but I'll tell you this real quick. Back in the Spotify days when it was the Jordan Patrick show, Jordan would record his intros in my podcast room, and we would all congregate here and do the show, and then it would hit Spotify within a few hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And Jordan was such a perfectionist with nailing the intro that and I'm such an asshole that he's in the middle of just smashing this thing, and I start singing in the background, just because I'm that guy. And shouts out to you, Jordan Patrick, and I'm sorry for everything that you had to endure here. But until next time, he is Idris. He is Shed. I like that we were able to get into more football talk today. And it's the season is on the horizon. Yankees, I'm going to say this. They still have the best pitching in all of Major League Baseball. I'm going to put them on the tube in just a moment. And make it a point to check out Big Bosco Productions, the dirtiest rap album ever made, as well as Old Man Energy Volume 1 and 2. Also check out our friends at the Casual Convo Show. Every 8 to 10 p.m., Monday, Wednesdays. What else we got? The Basement Show with our good friend Johnny Nast. Always make sure to give that guy your support. Johnny doing big things over there. Terrific person. And I think that's the shout-outs for tonight. Idris, anything before we get out?
Jackson Dart is your quarterback, black people. Get over it. He's going to win us the Super Bowl.
Shed, last thought.
Idris is high. The Giants will not win the Super Bowl this year, but I appreciate his enthusiasm.
The Knicks will repeat. We out.
You wrong shit.
Big Nick energy, we ain't playing nice. Kings of New York, ain't no rolling dice. Flexing on these bitches, we the real deal. Ain't no stopping us, this is how we feel. The Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, the island of Queens, we ballin' hard. Fulfilling all our dreams, thugging through the hustle. Got that grit and grind in this Big Nick energy, we forever shine. So let them know we rockin'. From the garden to the booth, Knicks in the building, bringing straight up truth. With our heads held high, watch us rise and transcend. Big Nick energy, this is just the beginning.